Hey, hey, hey. I hope you guys enjoy these, what I'm calling podcast shorts for my Burnout to All Out community. This is just a little peek behind the curtain of the coaching that goes on inside of my programs. We're bringing to you some of the best nuggets and coaching I'm giving within hot seats of all of our different programs, whether it's our LinkedIn Method Academy, our mini mastermind business basics, all the way up to our higher level mastermind. If you're hearing some of these questions and you're like, man, I wish I could get my burning question answered by Melissa. Hey, guess what? You could be featured on my podcast. If you've got a question that you want answered and you submit it to my team and we pick it, we will bring you here to the podcast for our podcast shorts and do a hot seat with you. Where can you submit your questions? Send them to teamburnout2allout.co. We'll make sure we drop that in the show notes for our podcast shorts. And I hope that you guys find as much value in these shorts as our clients do inside the program. Need some effective tactical advice that actually helps you get results and makes a real difference in your life and business? You've come to the right place. If you're finding yourself here today, it means you're getting ready to gain serious traction in your business, rapidly multiply your income and impact, and you're ready to make it happen while living all out. Guys, I'm Melissa Hinault, your trustworthy corporate dropout turned six-figure business burnout turned happy and healthy CEO of a multi-million-dollar online business. And you're listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. On this show, we're serving up innovative growth strategies, simple implementation methods to put them into practice, and action-stimulating inspiration tailored specifically for the modern entrepreneur. Let's dive in. All right, Natalia.
Hello. I'm sorry, I have a little cold, but I am here. I have a question for you. I'm trying to maximize my networking and my network, period. And I've been here, I'm at the end of August, so I'm a little bit past my halfway point, and I need to do better with connecting. I'm not even getting a B-. I think I'm just really struggling to figure that out. So I ran a search on LinkedIn using the following Boolean terms: women and HR and senior leaders. And then I get a whole bunch of people and I choose first and second connections. That's 900 people that I'm thinking just by title, they're my ideal people. Okay, so what do I do with these 900 people?
Yeah. Okay. 900 is actually not that bad. Depends on how high your SSI score is as to how many people you can connect with per week or per month. So you're just going to have to play with that. But you can add at least 100.
My SSI is 48.
Okay.
And I do have premium too. I think I'm not utilizing all the pieces correctly.
Yeah. I would make it your all-time goal to get connected with all 900 of them. What I would do is, and I've played with this, and you get a feel for where your verbiage is really tracking and people are like really engaging. And so you might have to play with this a little bit, but it's when you're sending the request to connect and you can only do a handful on the free account, but you've got the premium. So you probably can send more personal messages, is think through, in general, you've got a pretty tight audience that you're sending requests to connect to. So you want to think about how can you personalize that message in a way that kind of encompasses that category field. And if you're only doing a couple a day, maybe 10 or 15 a day, but you're committed to doing it daily every single day, it's the compound effect.
Yeah.
And so 10 to 15 a day with a little bit more of a custom either message or once they accept, like a custom response, will go so far for you. So it doesn't have to be super custom for each message. If you feel like you're screaming into the void when you post content on Facebook or Instagram, struggling to find a sustainable and scalable lead generation process that sticks, and you just want someone who's been there and done that to reveal their secrets, then it's critical that you register to save your spot ASAP. During this live masterclass, you'll get to steal the exact strategy I used to scale my income from $0 to 1 million in just 19 months without spending a fortune on ads or suffering from burnout. Simply check out the show notes of the podcast episode for the link to register for your free spot in the LinkedIn Lead Gen Masterclass. And don't worry, even if you miss a couple of days or you can't make it to all the training sessions, we'll deliver the replays directly into your inbox daily so you can watch them on your own time. All you have to do is make sure you sign up for the masterclass before registration ends. What I used to do when I grew my network on my own was I would strategically grow my network with different job titles on different days because I would use different verbiage for different roles.
Okay.
So that you're not going back and forth and trying to think of something new every time. Once a week, I would grow my network specifically with pharmacists. So then my conversation is going to be very similar to every pharmacist I send a message to. Hey, I see that you're a pharmacist, like some kind of common ground, and then an open-ended question. And then it was literally copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. You feel like it's spam, but it's actually very customized to the specific job description. Then on the next day, I might grow my network with 15 people who worked in the pharmaceutical industry, who were high level, like senior leaders or whatever. I see you're a senior leader in big pharma, and then some common ground comments, and then an open-ended question. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And then it's like a rinse and repeat. I would use those scripts for the different swim lanes each day of the week, rinse and repeat each week, rinse and repeat each week.
And that makes complete sense. And I'm thinking actually one day will be the HR senior leaders and another day would be my B Corp, because that's the other really like in the most ideal world, like I'm just going to vision cast my most ideal client is actually a senior leader in a B Corp. That's where I want to work or who I want to work with. So maybe that's one. So then here's the other piece that I'm getting lost in is tracking all of these connections and communications. So then as I do, let's say today's whatever, Tuesday, I have 5 people that I've written to. Do I then put them on a spreadsheet and say, I wrote to these 5 people? I'm not kidding you. I have some Post-it notes. I have paper and I have a spreadsheet. I'm like, wait a minute, this is ridiculous.
Okay. So I did some training on Asana. It should be in the coursework in the back end.
Yeah.
It guides you in how I do this.
Okay.
And so you will lose your mind if you try to track every single conversation. Okay. So I have a specific policy that we only track people who've showed an interest.
Okay.
So for me, just because they responded to my first engagement doesn't mean they're a warm lead. It just means they're a heartbeat that's active on the platform. So once I get into the back and forth, and there's, for instance, let's say you have a freebie and you say you've discovered that their HR leader, you've identified they've got some challenges in XYZ, and you're like, hey, I actually happen to be an expert in this, and I've got this totally free downloadable resource. You may find a value. If I send it to you, would you be interested in it? It's very important that you ask that question.
Yeah.
The moment they say yes, they go on the tracker. Why?
Okay.
Because they're showing some level of interest.
Got it.
Okay? Or it could be you get into some pleasantries and there's an acknowledgement of being interested in hopping on a call or checking out something. There has to be some positive movement forward that acknowledges that there's a gap and a need. Prior to that, I am not tracking. What's beautiful about this is in Asana, I would have it very much showed interest in resource, and then I would move them along the board if they reviewed the resource and followed back up. That's even a warmer lead. Then if they moved all the way to a consult call, I moved them across the board to the consult call, because that just as you're moving hotter, 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 hotter. And then when I move to the consult call, I've got Asana flagged for me to circle back in 2 days if I haven't heard back from them, or whatever you want to call it. I do the 2 by 2 by 2. So 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. So then that way you're tracking, you can very quickly on your board, if you've got minimal time, go specifically to the hottest leads or the people that you've had a call with that you need to follow back up with, or that have acknowledged that they're interested. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've got a training on that. When you're first getting started and you're just got a couple nibbles, like you're just looking for some meals, you can set up follow-ups on Asana, and you may find yourself following up on different days of the week with different people. But as you get momentum and you've got more of a pipeline of leads, what I have found is it's much easier to just actually have a day that you're following up with everyone from an efficiency standpoint. So I always call Fridays like Friday cleanup. We're following up with everybody, and we're also going back to all the posts for the week and looking at second and third degree connections that have engaged in our content and reaching out to them and having an open-ended conversation and requesting to connect with them. So like that works better in the workflow when you start really getting moving than being jerked around by Asana every day saying, today's the day to follow up with so-and-so, today's the day to follow up with so-and-so, and the next day it's time to follow up with so-and-so. It's kind of messy, but you can still assign. And so where I'm going with this is we still have the 2x2x2, but Asana might be saying all week long, this person was supposed to be followed up with on Monday, this one on Tuesday, this one on Thursday. And it's like, great, but I'm following up with everybody on Friday.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? What's beautiful about that process is when you go to scale and maybe make your first hire, if you don't have one now, is like a VA or someone kind of managing some of your follow-up in the DMs, it's a very repeatable process that you can hand to them for follow-up. It's all trackable and it just makes for easy delegation.
Got it. No, this is, oh my gosh, so helpful. And then I actually have client work. So this is where I'm struggling actually. I'm doing all this, what I call it's not profit. I mean, it's eventually profit generating, but it's business development. And I'm squeezing in between client calls and actual deliverables that I'm trying to create for clients. And so it's a mess. I mean, it's okay. Yeah. I'm giving myself permission to say this is like the growing pains, but I'm trying to formulate systems for scalability. And I'm thinking long term.
Top of funnel is really important. And it is the tipping point for expansion. I find even for myself and entrepreneurs are really starting to get going is you get this set of book of business and you're so busy delivering that you can't find the time to do the top of funnel marketing to keep the pipeline going. And what happens is when we finally look up because our funnel is getting a little bit dry and our projects are slowing down, now all of a sudden we have no leads. Yeah. And so one of the things that I highly encourage all of you to do is really assess what your hourly rate, I'll walk you through this in a second, but like what your hourly rate is truly worth and what some activities you're doing probably should be delegated to someone else right now in your operating budget. And I know because I've been there, you can feel like I don't have another penny to spend, but the reality is it could be the bottleneck to blocking you off from your next big client because you don't have the time to manage and grow the platform the way that you want to and need to. And so what I encourage you guys to do is look at, you guys can do this all right now. What is your revenue goal for the year? What is your revenue goal for the year? And write that down. And I can do it with you. We can do some simple math. Let's say your revenue goal for the year is $200,000. And then you have to ask yourself, how many weeks do I want off? So let's say you got into business so that you could have some time freedom. And for easy math, let's say that you want 10 weeks off. So that means you're going to work 42 weeks. So with 42 weeks, the next question is, how many hours a week are you going to work? Are you going to work 30 hours a week, 40 hours a week? So let's say I want to work 30 hours a week, because again, that's why I got into business for myself. And I want to work 30 hours a week times 42 weeks. So you take the number of hours per week you want to work times the number of weeks you want to work. I just did that. 30 hours, 42 weeks is 1,260 hours for the year. Now take that and divide it by the total revenue goal that you have. So divide that. So I would say 200,000, if that's your goal, divided by 1,260 hours. That means your hourly rate is $158 an hour. So if you're looking to take 10 weeks off, work 30 hours a week and make $200,000 this year, anything you're doing that's less than $158 an hour that someone else can be doing for less.
Somebody else should be doing it.
Yeah. That was one of my very first hires, was social media in the DMs. And listen, I'm like the LinkedIn expert. What did I do? And you guys can do this. I gave them my LinkedIn checklist and trained them. Very simple stuff. Here's who I want you going engaging with. Here's the type of audience I want you growing my network with. Here's the scripts I want you using. And they can be doing your Friday cleanup, meaning the second and third degree connections that have engaged with your content. To this day, I have a social, she's called a community manager, and she does this every single Friday. She's pulling those second and third degree connections in. She's growing my network. We have a live event in Austin, Texas in October. So she's growing my network with entrepreneurs. Guess where? In Austin, Texas right now. And then they can triage the warmer leads to you for $20 an hour. So ask yourself, when you're sitting down to do some of this work, how does it feel to be doing a $20 an hour job right now when I could be doing a $158 an hour job? And every time I've layered on someone new into the business to fill a gap for the work I was doing, I've seen exponential growth in the company. You just have to be willing to do it. Thanks, guys, so much for listening in on today's podcast episode. And I can't wait for you to see my upcoming guest in the next episode. You are going to love this keynote speaker. Hey, here's the deal. If you liked this, please subscribe and leave a review. And you want the latest online business growth strategies and exclusive LinkedIn pro tips sent straight to your phone? Text the word update to 704-318-2285. That is, text the word update to 704-318-2285. Can't wait to see you guys. Come find me over on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you like to hang. Cannot wait to hear how you are enjoying and applying what you're learning. You guys reach out to me over on social because I love hearing what's resonating with you. When you reach out to me and you send me those personal DMs, they really do impact the content I continue to bring forward to you. So again, come find me, Melissa_Hinault over on Instagram, Melissa Hinault over on LinkedIn and Facebook. Can't wait to see you guys over there.